Hello, kids. I'm Jack Cagle, your commissioner of Precinct 4. Welcome. Have fun learning about our beautiful park, the nature, the wildlife. There might even be a snake or two that you can play with. Shh, don't tell anybody that's frightened of snakes. Enjoy your Precinct 4 park.
Well, I like being in nature a lot.
Always maintain 3 points of contact in the water.
It's better than being inside. We're gonna go canoeing.
Jesse Jones Park is a 312-acre nature preserve. It's intended to provide a place for people to get outside, enjoy being outdoors, learn about nature, learn about Texas history, and we've been doing it for almost 40 years now.
I like how the water, like when you're canoeing, it gives you good exercise, but it doesn't tire you out too much.
And we have summer nature camp during the summer that lasts through June and July for ages 5 to 12. The 10 to 12-year-olds are the one that get to have the special day of canoeing, and we actually take them through the safety and the training, the proper way to canoe, so that they then finalize their day with a canoe trip.
And another thing why I keep coming here is because of the snakes. Snakes are really pretty to me.
The Nature Center has taxidermied species of animals found in the area, as well as live snakes on display. We also have our Burmese python that we showcase, showing what happens when you have a pet snake and the proper way to take care of a pet snake.
I've been coming to this park for over 30 years. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved our turtle pond. It's one of our permanent cypress ponds that we have out here, and it's full of wildlife, and it's a great opportunity for kids to really get to interact with wildlife because they can come out and we have turtle food available, and they can go down and feed the turtles and the fish, and they come right up, and it really provides an up-close and personal view of some of the wildlife.
Well, from the time the park opened in 1982, we have gone from 154 acres to the 312 acres that we have today.
When you come to Jesse Jones Park, you might see giant bald cypress trees, bobcats, coyotes, different types of turtles, snakes, and birds all throughout this park. And while they may not look exactly like what you've seen on your TV shows and whatnot, they are very similar, have a lot of the same traits, but are things that you can regularly see with your own eyes and in your own backyard. So we have a ton of different plants and animals that are found out here in Jesse Jones Park. We're home to over 800 different species of plants, everything from small grasses and mosses and flowers all the way up to trees that are well over 100 feet tall. We've got over 220 different species of bird that have been documented in this park.
Bald cypress trees are so distinctive with the knees that they grow out to the side, and they look so curious to everyone. And we have the boardwalks where they can walk right up across the pond areas and see those up close and personal.
We usually fish together. It's just really fun catching fish. I like to study what the fish look like and look them up in books and stuff.
There's actually probably over 30 different species of fish, or maybe more, that are found out in the creek. And in the wintertime and early spring, white bass are the most prominent. We really get a lot of people that come out and want to try to catch those. We also have several different species of sunfish, 2 or 3 different species of gar, and then some other less common species like carp or smallmouth buffalo people can catch out here throughout the year.
I really like to see the children getting excited about learning about nature and Texas history. The Rio de Santa Rosa was the original name of Spring Creek. The Spanish and French explorers wrote about this high bluff that they saw and their interactions with the Native Americans in the area, which we now know were called the Acokisa Indians.
The Acokisa lived here long before the colonists came in from Europe, and they lived here in Cypress and Spring Creek areas during the fall and winter time, and during the summers and spring they would migrate down to the coast along Spring Creek, which eventually makes its way to Galveston Bay. Living in 2 different places, you know, they have 2 different homes. Here in inland areas, they have the wickiup, which is the dome-shaped structure that's covered with palm fronds, and when they go down to the coast, They have the chiqui, which is an elevated structure. It's usually square, anywhere from 10 to 15, even 20 feet off the ground, depending on how bad the mosquitoes were. And they would build a small smudge fire beneath that. The smoke would then rise up and help to kind of disperse the mosquitoes. They would take rotten alligator fat and rub it all over their bodies. And this was their off. They somehow figured out that the gas coming off of the nasty alligator fat would repel mosquitoes. They didn't have refrigerators, they didn't have beds. The women would forage for berries, nuts, acorns. They also ate the root of the greenbrier plant, which was very starchy, and that was kind of their carbohydrates. And then they used deer, bear, small game for their food. And the Akwakisa were actually well known for tanning black bear skins. It was one of their best commodities for trading with the European colonists was black bear skins, as well as they were master boat makers. They would make these huge, long 20-foot canoes because they had to carry their whole family and everything with them as they migrated. The Akwakisa Native Village, which is just behind our Redbud Hill homestead, has a replica sweat lodge. It has a replica chief's hut, the chiqui as well. And every year we have to maintain these structures, and we do it all the traditional way using our native Yaupon boughs. We also use palm fronds to cover the surface just to complete the shelters. And it's all bound together using either sinew or small vines that we find here in the park. Then they take a big sack and they fill it with straw.
Our homestead represents the time period between the 1820s and 30s. So the homestead really comes to life during our annual events that take place up there when all of the costume reenactors are there showing the demonstrations of how life actually was in that time period.
There we have cabin, which just kind of shows people the hard life that these people had to live. And it also shows different trades that the pioneers would have, things like the blacksmith, the woodworker, the farmer, and all of those would trade amongst themselves.
We have 4 annual events focused out in the Homestead area. We have Homestead Heritage Day the second Saturday in February, Native American Heritage Day the second Saturday in September, our Pioneer Day the second Saturday in November, and Old Fashioned Christmas the first Saturday in December. All of those just bring to light a different element of that time period. We have 2 other annual events that we have, Nature Fest, which is the first Saturday in March, and we also have Tricks and Treats Among the Trees, which is our Halloween event that happens the Saturday preceding Halloween.
And one of the great things about our programs here is that all the programs are actually offered free of charge to the public. So there really is something for everybody here at Jones Park. I think one of the funniest things is we get people that come up and they say, well, where's the park? Because so many people associate a park with a playground and picnic area. And that is one very small aspect of the park. So if you do want to come out and take your children to the playground and go have a picnic, we do have a playground and picnic area for families and for kids. We also have pavilions that are available out there for larger groups. We have over 8.5 miles of trails here in the park that are available for hiking on all of them, and cycling is available on some of those trails. From there, we could go and there's fishing, canoeing and kayaking, bird watching, photography opportunities.
Jones Park is in my heart. I think we have a wonderful place for people to visit. I enjoy being a part of something that is bettering our environment, preserving our environment, for children to learn about nature and Texas history tied into one is just fantastic. Jesse H. Jones Park and Nature Center has something for the whole family.